right, buddy, you can get down. All right, Jessica Miller-Wise, that was for you. You said Hope Lincoln will be live too. Hi, Pastor Brad. So Lincoln was live, and hopefully I'm live too. Hopefully the sound is on. It looks like it is. Looks like the video is on, which is fantastic. And thank you for being patient. My son Blake and I was here alone. All the equipment had been set up. We put in new equipment this week for our midweek connection. It's so important for us to connect with you in a very positive way that we put in a kind of new camera and sound thing so it could be as positive experience as we could manufacture, and everything went south. And my son Blake got a message from Christy Kurtz, actually, one of our worship leaders, and says, "Your dad must be peeved." And I certainly wasn't happy, but here's the thing. This is how life works. If this pandemic season has taught us anything, it's that if everything goes south, we still have the hope of God and everything's good. And so let me just say a one big hey, a one big thank you to every single one of you who are gathered with us. You can tell your friends and family that we're connected on Facebook Live. And here's what's exciting. This exciting, weird, crazy, maybe a better way to say it. We are tonight at the 7-week mark for the suspension of our live gatherings and going to instead of digital only. And even though we do it live like this is on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Even though this is live, we're not in the same space. We're not gathered together physically. And it's been 7 weeks tonight when I first announced the suspension of our services. And so imagine that. And yet, surprisingly, everything that I dreaded as I made that announcement, knowing and believing with all of my heart that we'd made the right decision, but dreading the unbelievable impact it was going to have on your life, my life, our ministry, family, our mission, none of those dreads have been realized. We've really, in spite of the fact that there's a lot we're missing, not getting together personally, we're soaring missionally, impacting a ton of people, and it excites me. And we have people gathering, obviously, in droves from our own home state, go Michigan, but I'm also really excited that a lot of you are gathered with us and connecting with us from states all around the country. So welcome to you. In fact, we have people in countries around the world connecting, and so thanks so much. In fact, I know our great neighbor to the north, Canada, is represented. We actually have people who gather, at our campuses from Canada. But I know some of you are connected with us live. Give a big shout out, oh Canada. I won't sing it, even though I went to school there for 2 years and had to. But I have to tell you, it kind of reminds me that some of you are from Canada. It reminds me of something I've learned during quarantine. And I don't know about you, but I feel like my IQ is advancing a little bit because we have more time to invest ourselves in learning stuff. And it's a historical fact that I just never knew. It's kind of like the rest of the story as it relates to Canada. And maybe many of you Canadians don't even know. I went to your school system for 2 years and never found this out. But the naming of Canada, the country, has a crazy history to it. You have leaders from all kinds of different cultures that gathered there. You speak different languages in Canada. And they couldn't decide on a name, and they finally decided on a method for choosing their name, and it was to put all the letters of the alphabet in a hat and to pull them out one by one. And this is really the historical lesson of how Canada got its name, and this is how it went. Reached in, pulled out the first letter, and it was C. A. Reached in and got the letter N. A. You get how it was done? 3 letters, C, N, D, and they said A after everyone, Canada. Okay, I had to give it, that's the way I relax and get down. That's the way I get a lot of you to groan. But thank you so much. I hope you're well wherever you're gathered with us. I hope that you and your families and those you love are doing well. But tonight I'm going to be sharing some updates about what's going on at Northridge. I want to connect with some reminders of things that we want you to be aware of, and then I am going to share a couple of stories, and then in the end, I'm going to pray, okay? And so I'm just grateful that you've gathered. I'm grateful this thing's working. And I'm also going to try and connect with you guys who are online. If you have a question, I'll try and catch it. Won't be able to do it all, but I love what Noelle Bittinger said. She said, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And so, at any rate, so here we are. And we did say we were going to gather at 8 o'clock because we didn't know what the technology problem was, but we didn't want to sit around and make you sit around for 30 minutes when we knew we had it fixed. So sorry to anyone who was inconvenienced by our false announcements, okay? And I see, yay, so good to see you in Lincoln. And Lincoln was really proud to have me out of the scene for the first couple of frames of this Facebook Live and to have the stage to himself. Here are a couple of updates that I want to give you. The first one is one of the first couple of weeks of our digital-only services, I interviewed some of our outreach partners. And if you didn't see that, you can go back and review those services. But one of our outreach partners is actually from our regional area. His name's Chris Lambert, and he's with Life Remodeled. He's the director of Life Remodeled. And he told us that they thought his wife had COVID-19, that she was as sick as she'd been a long time, some lung issues and all of that. And I just recently got an update from him that I thought I'd pass along to you because I know you've been praying, that it's kind of 2 points of good news. The first is she did test negative for the virus, whether it was a false negative or whatever, because it really felt like she was symptomatic in that way. But she tested negative. But the real good news is she's at 100% right now. So Chris Lambert and Andrea, we appreciate your ministry. We are so grateful for the impact you're making with Compassion and Outreach in the Detroit region. And we're glad, Andrea, that you are better. So that's fantastic. And then we have, and I didn't write it down, I'm quite sure that's right, but I want to share some of the impact of Northridge. I dreaded that we would slow down missionally, but we've advanced missionally. And some of the things that, I mean, the weekend services, how about our team, right? I hope that you'll give kudos to our team. They are, I spent a couple hours, actually about 3 hours with them yesterday on the phone as we prepared for this weekend and the next. And again, we were connected for a couple hours today, and they get it. They care deeply about you and about helping to give encouragement and hope and spiritual growth to opportunities to all of you, and proud of them. But it's not just our weekend team. It's our ministry teams are going all out as well. So our reach and impact is extending on the weekend digitally. I hope that you'll keep sharing with everybody you can that the weekend's coming and how they can connect on our website through live stream. They can connect YouTube live always. And then 11:16, they can connect with YouTube live stream on our website and Facebook Live. And then you can share them all week long on demand. I just hope that you'll really spread the news about that. But our virtual ministry teams, our spiritual formation teams are growing as well. We just recently kicked off women's study for the spring. 400 women have signed up and connected virtually, and 80 who've never been a part of it before. And all of my dreads once again fall down, and God's accomplishing the good that I didn't have the faith to believe in. We've launched new starting point groups for those who are wanting to connect with the ideas of Jesus and start discussing his relevance to their life and what that means and looks like. We've started new rooted groups. We have a young adults virtual group that's meeting, and young adults, think about this, 150 are connecting on there and investing in each other and growing. And I guess I should just give you the lead. 1,200 people have already connected with us through our virtual groups. 1,200, and it's growing. And I hope that you'll do it. Just go to northridgechurch.com/virtual, and you can see what group you might want to be a part of. Another update, talk about making impact through outreach. We want to wake the world up to Jesus because we're showing them his love, and they want to know where that love comes from. And of course, it's from Jesus. That's the truth we tell. And we had small groups this week that were engaged in packaging 6,000 boxes for Salvation Army and Taylor to distribute food to people in the Metro Detroit area. And it just makes me so proud of all of you who are investing outward during this time where it would be easy just to think inwardly and get trapped in your inward fears and thoughts. So thanks to every single one of you who were a part of packing those meals and for everything else that's going on. Another update, prayer is expanding at Northridge in a big way. We've always believed in prayer, obviously. Prayer is a big part of how we go on and do our ministry, but we've connected in so many new ways, and we've connected more personally to being able to pray for each other. And all you have to do is go to northridgechurch.com, and on the bottom right corner, boom, there's a place where you can give us prayer requests and prayer needs. We've also started a live prayer team that it's an open prayer line. In fact, there's a number, 734-233-3700. And we have pastors and prayer team members who are available after every service to pray with you live. And if you happen to call when it's not being staffed, you can leave a message and someone will get back with you on that. And we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who have called. And this is a time where brokenness and difficulties and suffering and hurts are real. And people are grieving. People in our community are grieving, our family, our church family. And we've been able to pray with them. And I'm just really proud of our team, our pastors and our prayer team. And I hope that you'll connect with that if you have a need to be prayed with or prayed for. And I love the stories of impact that are going on. I got one, and I want to share unique ones. We get a lot, but I like to share them unique, and I've never heard this one before. It says, my husband and I have attended another area church, so they're in our geographical setting, Northridge Church. But it says, we've been searching for one that fits. We haven't found one that's really connecting with us, and we've been streaming your services since the pandemic quarantine, and have been moved by the messages and by the music staff. It's just been amazing. Perhaps after all this evil virus stuff has passed, we can attend a church service personally in Brighton. And so looking forward to seeing you. Thank you and God bless you. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, the Brighton campus being extended out. And that's why I wanted to share it with you. It's so cool that our campuses are extending out in this time. And then there's one about Grosse Ile. There was a letter that says, hey, Colston. Colston's our campus pastor at Northridge Grosse Ile. Just wanted to say a big thank you to you and your church and those amazing daily prayers that you guys send out. Every morning we send out a text and a guided prayer suggestion. And it says, I actually forward them each morning to some of my non-churched co-workers. And they've been very well received as a message of hope and even prompted conversations. And so he says, thank you. And what really got me is not only this through one of our regional campuses, Grosse Ile, but this person doesn't live in Michigan. This person lives and is active in ministry in California, in a church in California. But these things are impacting them. God's breaking down the walls, and he's using this church family and our mission in an amazing way. But if you'd like to be a part of that text and prayer thing in each morning, all you have to do is text us at the number 313131, and the message you send us is guide, and we'd love to connect you that way. We already have over 3,000 people engaged in that, and I'm so proud of our team and what's going on. So over 3,000 people collectively praying. The walls are coming down, and it's exciting. And I've heard of a lot of ministries, a lot of churches, and can I tell you, we're a part of Northridge Church family, our 16-word mission, and we're meant to encourage each other like the Church of Corinth did and the Church of Philippi did, and we're looking at the book of Philippians in the weekend. But there are a lot of great churches that God is using in great ways, praying in different ways, doing different ministries. It's so great. I celebrate that. But how neat that we can, within the walls and without the walls, be moving the truth of Jesus forward. So that's pretty cool. And then I also wanted to give you a reminder, and this is one, I hope you'll take this seriously, and I kind of waited till this point because I'm hoping most of you have onboarded now, either Facebook Live or YouTube Live, and with all the positives of social media, and there are so many positives, God's using social media in so many ways to help us to wake the world up to Jesus, but I want to remind you and inform you of the dangers. You have to be careful. For a long time now, there's been an individual or some individuals that, for some reason, create fake Brad Powell Facebook pages. I mean, I don't even understand it. Don't get it. They rob the pictures from my sites and from my social media things, and then they start a fake site, and And what they're trying to do is ingratiate themselves with people. They actually send out friend requests to people to get them to be their friend, and then they use language that isn't normally mine, and then they solicit for money and connections of that kind, and it's dangerous. And just recently there's been one who's been sending out, in fact I heard about it this morning, fake Brad Powell, it doesn't say fake Brad Powell, it says Brad Powell, messenger requests and emails to connect and ask for money. And I just need you to know that I do not do Facebook friend requests. I never reach out to anyone in that way. I never ask for personal prayer requests that way. I never solicit money that way. That's not how we do things. And so just be really, really careful. And if you run across something like that looks like it might be from me, but it's requesting a friendship or requesting money or requesting your involvement that way, would you report it to us? You can call Northridge and connect with my executive assistant, Pam Heaton, and that would just be careful, okay? And but isn't it weird that fake Brad Powell, do a fake George Clooney or a fake Justin Timberlake or a fake Mark Zuckerberg? I mean, a fake Brad Powell, that's just bizarre. But okay. I also want to give you a reminder of our weekend services. Yes, they're still all online. I can't wait until it's not that way, but right now it is, and but they're all live. And so, though they're all online, they're live online, and we do it at 5:16 on Saturday night, 9:16 Sunday morning, and 11:16 on Sunday morning. And choose your favorite platform, and we'd love to have you engage. And make sure you share it as much as you possibly can. And don't forget, we're in a study on the book of Philippians. And man, studying that book is really getting me. Paul knew confinement and isolation and difficulty and disappointment and grief, and yet he still knew joy. And he teaches us how. And we're calling the series My Plans. Oops, not my plans, God's plans. And the problem with our lives is we kind of function more naturally by our plans, but the way we experience life in all of its fullness is with God's plans. And the book of Philippians is really laid out well that way. And I'm very excited about this week as we move into Philippians chapter 2, and we talk about some truths that I think can really engage us in these times. But I'm so excited about an interview I just did today with one of our medical professionals. It's an update video. And I'm so excited that it changed the whole dynamic of how we're approaching the service. And it's informational, but more than that, it's moving and it's inspiring. And I really want to encourage you to tune in to the weekend service and be a part of it. And the worship is going to be strategically planned, and the talk, I'm excited. In fact, Paul Black, our longtime music pastor, and my very good friend, was on one of our creative programming team meetings, in fact, all of them. And today he said, man, this is like Easter. This is unbelievable. This is like a special service, and it is. And I can't wait till you connect with it, and I hope you'll connect a bunch of other people with it as well. And finally, I want to, just before I look at some of your comments and see if there are any questions, and I pray with you, I want to give you a devotional thought. And I'm living a lot more in my prayer journal these days, and I've added a lot to my prayer journal, but I can't get off this idea that I believe I'm supposed to share with you right now. I just really believe that this is going to tap some of you on the heart, tap some of you on the shoulder, open some of your hearts, and maybe meet just the need that you need. And it stems from how I pray through Our Father in Heaven, the beginning of the Lord's Prayer, Our Father in Heaven. And it's just a concept that God's kind of crafted in me that I realize I need. And the truth is, I'm an activist. I like to jump in and try and solve things and get things done, but I've realized over the years that I'm limited to my limitations, right? I'm in the midst of the moment, and I don't have the power to break out of it, to overcome it, like this pandemic season. And one of the things God's been teaching me, and I pray through, is that we need to always know and remember who we're praying to. He's our Father in heaven. And I get myself in trouble when I forget that the God of the universe is my Father, my God, my guide, the one whom I can depend on and look to in every angle. And this is the way I walk through it. I have all kinds of fears and problems and dreads and difficulties and discouragements and the disappointments that I experience in the moment. I have so many limitations. I'm incapable of solving this pandemic. I'm incapable of helping each and every one of you as individuals with your needs. I'm incapable of making Northridge Church, get all together. I can't do any of that. But then when I remember He's my Father in heaven, I realize that God transcends this circumstance I'm in, and God transcends my limitations, and God transcends my limited resources, and God transcends my limited knowledge and opportunities and view. He's above it. He's my Father in heaven. He's bigger than that. He sees the whole perspective. He's beginning from end. And I pray then when I recognize that, God, help me to live in your unlimited power rather than my limited power. Help me to stop trying to solve the world's problems in my small, limited capabilities, and help me to give you, in your unlimited power, access into my life. And remember, when you really trust in Him that way, He's faithful to all of His promises. What happened with Abraham and Sarah couldn't happen. I mean, come on, a 90-year-old lady's not going to have a baby. And yet she did. What happened with Moses isn't going to happen. A murderer isn't going to become the leader of God's people, the writer of the first 5 books of the Bible. I mean, David, the same thing. This one who did so messed up quite a bit, as I can relate to. Became a man after God's own heart and used to write psalms that can transform us all. And it was not him and his limited power, it was him entrusting himself and his limits to the unlimited God, our Father in heaven. And Nehemiah the same. And when we know this, then we learn to trust Him even when we don't understand things. I can't trust myself in these circumstances, God, but You're above these circumstances, so I can trust You. I can't provide for myself in these circumstances, God, but You're not in these circumstances, and You can provide for me. And it changes everything. And then when we trust Him that way, we follow Him faithfully, and we're not dominated by fear anymore. We're not dominated by doubt anymore. I just want you to spend some time on that, my Father in heaven, and all that means, and when you apply it to your life. And in a minute, we're going to pray to our Father in heaven. But right now, I just really am excited about looking at some of the things you're talking about. Denise Keller-Mills says, my 12-year-old granddaughter got Northridge on YouTube on my TV, so watching on phone and the big screen in my living room. Thank God for 12 years old. That's pretty cool. And seriously, I'm pretty tech savvy, but as you know from the beginning of this Facebook, if something doesn't work perfectly, I'm not the one to solve the problem. So at any rate, I'm very, very thankful for young people as well. Hey, this is something I was just reminded of. We have our student ministry lead, our student ministry pastor, Levi, and his wife Morgan, Levi Koistra and Morgan Koistra, just had this week a brand new baby. And that's really, really, really exciting. And I hope that when you see them, you'll celebrate their new baby as well. And I have the name on the tip of my tongue, but it's Joy is the middle name. Zion Joy. Yeah, Zion Joy. Tell me that's not a great name. So Levi and Morgan, if you're watching, we're grateful you're part of our church family. We're grateful that God's taken care of you. They were able to be together during the birthing process, which, man, that's remarkable. And we're praying for you. We're excited for you. That's really, really, really cool. All right. Oh, and by the way, Levi says, I'm watching with Zion right now. Zion, well, you see, you're more spiritual than I am, Levi. When I brought my son home, when I was with him in the beginning, I watched March Madness with him. And you're watching Facebook Live with your pastor, so that's pretty cool. You're far more spiritual than I am. Also got a note from Mary Velt, who says 2 of her sisters and 1 brother have started watching the 11:16 service. Mary, that is really, really exciting. Thanks for sharing it with them, and I love that they're embracing. If they're watching this, welcome to the Northridge Church gathering here digitally. And by the way, So I see Aubrey Lee's on here, and Aubrey, it's good to see you, man. I miss you. He's one of our elders at our church, and that's exciting. And Nick Phillips, one of our staff members, said, Levi, what a gift from above. It's really, really neat. So as I go back, I didn't see any questions on here, but if I could just, once again, apologize for technical difficulty, but can I apply it to my devotional thought? I was locked in that circumstance, and I could do nothing to change it, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. But I didn't freak all the way out to losing my testimony. I didn't do what that emoji with all the question marks and stuff does on Facebook. And we were able to solve it. But, God was in control. And who knows why it was delayed. Maybe it was just a test on me. But anyway, I'm so glad you joined us. I hope you'll be joining with us for the weekend services. Hope you'll be telling other people about Facebook Live at 7 o'clock or whatever time we can get this thing working. And hey, tell me about the quality of this too. Can you tell the difference in the camera and the sound? Hopefully you can. And can I express my appreciation as well to our ministry team who's right now engaging you. And I really do appreciate how on each of our ministry platforms, whether it's YouTube Live, Facebook Live, they're trying to engage you that way. Our live stream doesn't have the chat forum yet, but I love it here. They're doing the same thing, and it's really, really terrific. Okay, so what we want to do before I say goodbye is we want to pray together, and I'm going to pray for you specifically. I'm going to be praying for the medical professional that I had the privilege of talking with today, whom you're going to be able to experience the story of what's going on in their lives this weekend. Don't miss it, seriously. It will really mess with you emotionally and spiritually. It's inspiring, and you know who you are if you're watching right now, and I enjoyed our conversation so much. So we'll be praying for you and your family. And now we're going to pray for the church. All right, here we go. Father in heaven, I thank you so much for this moment that we can connect. Thanks for technology. It can be frustrating, it can be infuriating, but it gives us the opportunity when it's working right to connect like this in Jesus' name. So thanks for being in the midst. God, right now there are people who are carrying burdens so heavy that we can't even comprehend them. As I've talked to people who've gone through the COVID sickness, it is an agonizing deal. And I pray that there are some who are experiencing physical sickness. Yes, there are others emotional, mental, spiritual. And I just pray whatever the huge burden is that's weighting down the people connected with us right now, that you by your grace would lift it. You said we can have a peace and a comfort and a joy that passes understanding. And that's what I ask. Let your grace be sufficient for each one. Whatever burden they're facing, help each of us to step outside of our circumstances by putting our faith in you, because you are outside of our circumstances. And God, do the miracle that only you can do to provide, to guide, to help, to heal, to meet the needs. And I'll thank you for that. I pray for, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, God, the medical professional that I had the privilege of speaking with today. And I just ask that you would pour grace into that family's life and strength and encouragement. Thanks for their investment back in us. And I pray that you would use that story on the weekend to really make a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I pray for the team as we ready for the weekend, for the talk, for the music, for everything, God, that you would use it to change lives. We're here for the same reason we were when we met on our campuses, to wake the world up to Jesus, to show your love, to tell your truth, and to involve people. Let it happen in a big way, and we'll thank you for it. Now, for each person, wherever they are around the world, may they experience your touch and your smile, and we'll thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, everybody, thanks again. Sorry for the delay. Thanks for connecting. Share this with everyone you can. Can't wait to see you on the weekend. And when we do, we'll be together again digitally. In Jesus' name. See you, everybody.